Hi everyone, I would like to record just a short video to stress the importance of cleaning up your data before you import it into INZight or any other tool for analyzing it. So just a few recommendations. First of all, it's usually a good idea to save your files in a format that software tools for visualization can understand. For example, this is it's Apple's numbers software. That's not a good format. Okay, so if you have a numbers file, it's usually a good idea to export it as a CSV file. Remember that CSV stands for comma separated values. You can do that under File, Export to CSV, and then you save your file in a CSV format. This is a universal format that most software tools can understand and import. Numbers is not a good format. Or even Excel. Excel, I would recommend not to use even Excel format. Use CSV whenever it is possible. All software tools understand for visualization and data analysis understand CSV. The second is that I have sometimes seen data sets that have two different tables, like one table over here and then there's a completely unrelated table over here or here on the right. That's not right. Okay, you need to save each table, right? Each table that relates to a particular content, like this one. Okay, save it in a different file. So you have one table, one file. You have another table over here. Just cut it out, put it on a different file, and save it as a separate file. Otherwise, software tools like INZight will not be able to interpret your data correctly. And third of all, you need to clean up your data. And here's what I mean. Right now, we have a table over here that has some columns and some cells have a percent symbol, for instance. Another cells don't have a percentage symbol. Well, we already know that all these numbers are percentages, all right, other than the total down here, but I will address that in a second. All right, so this is a percentage, this is a percentage. Never use the percent symbol. If you already know that these are percentages, just change this number and write it with the format that all these numbers have, right? So instead of 100, this should be 1.0. Well, I need to upgrade these things. I'm going to type here 1.0, but automatically numbers will return these back to 100% because for some reason the software knows that these cells is a percentage, so it automatically adds the percent symbol. This can mess up things later on when we bring the file to INZight. So here's what I recommend. You can either change the format of the cell or something that is faster. Just select the 2.1 down here, copy it, bring it over here, paste it, and then change these 1.0. Okay, because 1.0 is basically a 1%. Okay, this is 100%, this is 1%. Okay, but we have removed the percent symbol. This is 1%, so I'm going to just copy this 1.0, paste it here, 1.0, paste it here, 1.0, paste it, paste it, paste it, and this is 0.0. So I'm just going to copy and paste the 1.0 and change this to 0.0, 1, 1, and 1. Okay, right now we have cleaned up the middle section of the data set. I don't recommend to include the total. We already know that the total adds up to 100%. Okay, so what I'm going to recommend that you do is that you save a copy of the file because we are going to transform these files substantially. So I'm going to just save these. I'm going to duplicate it, all right, or you can save it with a different name. Okay, so this is going to be my data modified. It's usually a very good idea to save the original, usually not always save the original file that you downloaded from sources, just in case you need to go back to the original source. Always keep it unmodified. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm making a copy. Sometimes we want to make a copy of the file every time that we make a substantial change. All right, so we may end up having like 3 or 4 versions of the same file depending on the transformations that we make. Well, we can actually remove all these. We don't need the total. So I'm going to select this whole row and I'm going to control click it or right click it, delete row. We don't need the total. And then down here we have numbers that are not really percentages. Everything else is a percentage. This is a row count. This is the total number of inmates, if I'm not wrong, right? So this is what I mean by a completely unrelated table. This table doesn't really relate to this other table. Therefore, this table needs to be moved to a completely different data file. I'm going to just cut it out. Right, remove this row of data. Okay, and I'm going to just control click that or right click it, delete row, and I'm going to create a new file. Okay, so I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to put this here. Okay, so I will just paste all these numbers and save this as a completely different data set. Okay, so right now our data I can save this, is ready to be imported into INZight. So right now I can just go to the File menu, Export to CSV. It's called My Data Modified. I'm going to save it on the desktop, so I'm going to just click on here, Export, and then I can just go to INZight, which is open over here. Go to the File menu, Import Data, and then just find My Data Modified, which should be down here. My Data Modified, not the numbers file, but the CSV file. Remember that we should work with CSV, and then click on OK, and there you go. All right, so we have all the data over here, right? So right now we can just start, dragging these variables over here, for instance, right? And that will give us the the data set. Okay, so we can just start playing with the data, right? So the point of this tutorial is to show you how important it is to clean up your data always and organize it properly before importing it into the tools.